Good evening. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. We'd like to welcome each and every one of you here to our City of Palatka, April 26, 2018 meeting. We will have our invocation at this time. We're going to ask Pastor Mills if he would come forward at this time. Pastor Robert Mills, if you would come forward and give us an invocation. And also, we're going to ask Mr. Danny Martinez if he would lead us in the pledge.
All right, let us pray. Almighty God, we are grateful for the good gifts you pour into our lives. We recognize that every good and perfect gift comes from you. And we're grateful for the wonderful gift that you have given to us of our community. We recognize that there's a responsibility that comes with being a part of a community like this. And we're so grateful for these men and women that are in front of us tonight that have assumed that responsibility. So we pray for wisdom for them, that they might have your discernment as they make significant decisions for our lives tonight. And we commit ourselves to you. In your precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Would you repeat with me, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Hill.
Here.
Vice Mayor Brown. Present. Commissioner Borum.
Present.
Commissioner McCaskill. Here. Commissioner Campbell.
Present.
All members are present and accounted for, and you have a quorum.
Has everyone had an opportunity to look at the minutes from both the workshop meeting and the regular scheduled meeting on April 4th and April 12th? Motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor to second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries unanimously. As we get ready to move into item 1 on the agenda, I also want to be able to take one item out of order, and that's item 4 on our agenda. Can we take it out of order and move it up on the agenda? Because I think it's something important, and I want everyone in attendance to hear today. If so, I'll accept the motion at this time to move.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Chief Shaw, if you could come forward with me at this time. Got a proclamation for our Law Enforcement Memorial Day on May 10th, and this proclamation reads as follows. Whereas the week of May 13, 2018 through May 19, 2018 has been designated as National Law Enforcement Week, and whereas May 10, 2018 has been designated locally as the Putnam County Law Enforcement Memorial Day. Whereas Putnam County has dedicated law enforcement men and women serving our county under difficult, stressful, and often dangerous circumstances. And whereas law enforcement officers are guardians of life and property, defenders of the individual's right to be free, warriors in the war against crime, and dedicated to the preservation of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And whereas Florida and the municipalities within Putnam County desire to honor the valor, service, and dedication of its own law enforcement officers, comprised of municipal, county, and state law enforcement agencies. Now therefore I, Terrell Hill, Mayor of the City of Palatka, Florida, together with the members of the Palatka City Commission, do hereby recognize and proclaim the week of May 13th through May 19, 2018 as National Law Enforcement Week, and May 10, 2018 as Putnam County Law Enforcement Memorial Day in the City of Palatka. I call upon all citizens to honor those law enforcement officers who, through their courageous deeds, have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their community, or whom have become disabled in performance of the duties. Let us recognize and pay respect to the survivors of our fallen heroes. Be it further proclaimed that the citizens of the City of Palatka are urged to show their support and appreciation of our law enforcement officers who give their lives to protect and serve their communities by attending a county-wide law enforcement memorial service on Thursday, May 10, 2018 at 10 a.m. at the Ravine Gardens State Park in Palatka. A witness whereof appearing to set my hand and cause to be affixed the seal of the city of Palatka, Florida, on this 26th day of April in the year of our Lord 2018. Terrell Hill Mayor, Mary Lawson Brown, Justin Campbell, Rufus Borum, and Tammy McCaskill, Commissioners. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
There's a motion simultaneously and a second by Commissioner Borum. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Chief, you want to present the proclamation? Give us a couple words.
I'll be short, but on behalf of all the law enforcement officers in the city of Palatka, the law enforcement officers of Putnam County, and the law enforcement officers across this nation, we simply say thank you. It is not our goal to seek recognition. It is simply to serve and protect the citizens of our respective communities. We do accept everything and every acknowledgement we can get, but in our hearts is truly to serve. So we say thank you.
So definitely we want to make sure that we continue to say thank you to our law enforcement officers throughout the course of the month of May, particularly on May 10th, as we have a memorial service. We're also going to make sure that we continue to recognize, we had to reschedule Mr. Charlie Boyd, longtime funeral director here in town. We rescheduled his proclamation and memorial of him as well. And we'll move on to item C, which is a discussion briefly about North Point Youth Incorporated. Dr. Errol Finlater is the founder of North Point Youth. Dr. Finlater, are you present along with any members from North Point Youth's board and any parents who participate in the organization? Dr. Finlater, will you come up and give us a little presentation on North Point Youth?
Good afternoon. Just want to thank the City Council for allowing me to present what's really dear to my heart. Mark Twain said that the two most important days of your life is when you're born and when you discover why. I would like to think that the two most important days of your life is when you're born and when you discover that you're loved. Because when you discover that you're loved, then you not only value yourself, but you value others and you value things as well. And that's what North Point Youth is really based on. North Point Youth, we try to reach the youth of our community, and our main message is that they are created by God with a purpose, and that God has gifted them uniquely to accomplish that purpose in their life. And I'm sure each and every one of you here can think of one person who loved you enough to challenge you and expect great things from you. And that's what North Point Youth is all about. We are really excited this year because everything seems to be coming together real well. And we are going to launch a mentoring program this year that hopefully will reach at least 3 schools. And we're hoping to employ mentors that will mentor at least 10 kids each. And the main message that the mentors will have is that each youth is a gift to our community, and that they're gifted by God. And we're hoping that the mentors will be the intermediate between the school, between the teachers, the parents, between the parents and the students themselves, because we have found that a lot of the parents aren't quite aware of what's happening in the school and what's available. In fact, some of the teachers tend to be challenged sometimes with what's happening in the school because the system changes so much, the terminology and the different aspects of school life. But in walking through the schools and mentoring some of the kids, I've noticed that the system already has enough in it in terms of the teaching and the proper teachers to really equip the students, but the students are not motivated to really avail themselves of the opportunities. And that's what we are excited about this year and what North Point Youth will do. I've been mentoring kids for over 15, 20 years, but North Point Youth became incorporated about 5 years ago. And we have always tried to attract kids through basketball because we found out that the kids in our community love to play basketball. And that's just one way to get them into the organization so we can live life with them and teach them what God has to say about situations that they encounter in their everyday life. But in doing that, as we registered kids for basketball, we noticed their grades were often terrible. And we noticed that often they weren't concerned. And if the parents were aware, sometimes they either weren't as concerned as they should be, or they just didn't know how to address the situation, how to work within the system. So we tried to tutor them in the afternoon, and we became confused also because we found out that how things are taught now in school is completely different from how we were taught. And so the system that we were using would end up confusing them even more. So we decided that tutoring outside of the school system really is not as productive as it can be if we can motivate the kids to utilize the school system the way it was designed to be utilized. So we're kind of excited in what we're going to be doing this year, and that's basically what we're going to do.
Can you introduce your board members? Have their board members.
We have the administrator or administrative assistant, Ms. Tarsha Gibbons. And Joan Shaw. Come on up. You gotta come on up, Joan. No.
And so, yeah, one more thing, Dr. Please slide over here. One of the things we always like to do, for those who don't know Dr. Finlater, Dr. Finlater had a thriving practice here in town. One of the few doctors that you meet who actually starts your surgery out with prayer. But he's somebody who's very beloved within this community, and he's really made some sacrifices. He closed his practice to go into ministry, and he's really put his heart and soul into North Point Youth. Both Chief Shaw and I also had the pleasure of serving on the board with North Point Youth. Commissioner Campbell, who runs after-school programs, has also had an opportunity to work with him and see what he does for the people in this community. Oftentimes we fail to really say thank you to those who make the ultimate sacrifices in life. Dr. Finlater could easily just retired and went on about his way, but he's truly a hometown hero in our minds. And so for that, we want to make sure that we recognize those people who are very special to us. And today, we got a Hometown Hero Award for Dr. Finlater. It says Palatka Pride Hometown Hero Award, presented to Dr. Errol N. Finlater, MD, in grateful recognition of your devotion to the advancement and success of the city of Palatka and Putnam County through community advocacy. Palatka City Commission and staff, April 26, 2018. We didn't get you here under false pretenses. We in fact did let you talk about North Point Youth, and we know you're not one who wants to be in the spotlight, but we have to continue to say thank you for the work that you've done to this community, your commitment to both our adults and our children, but the fact that, although you're not born in Palatka, your heart is right here. We love you for what you do, and we definitely appreciate you. Chief, is there anything you want to say?
I've had the opportunity to work alongside Dr. Finlater and witness what he does in the community. He mentioned basketball, starting out with just basketball, and Dr. Finlater and I share some very precious feelings and ideas towards the youth in the community. So it wasn't hard for us to come together and put our feet to the ground and begin working with the youth. I got to coach one of his teams. When requested, I had a little bit more time on my hands and spent a lot of time with the youth in that group, with Dr. Finlater, and seeing firsthand what he does and how much he gives to the kids of our community. It is a great opportunity for not only every youth to see, but every adult in our area to witness what he gives and how much he cares about the children in our community. And for that, not only I say thank you, but I think a lot of parents in our community have to say thank you as well.
Anything for Commissioner?
I'll say something. Dr. Finlater actually serves as my site coordinator over at Jenkins Middle School. his program was actually already implemented over at Jenkins, and he saw fit that we merged 21st Century After School Program and North Point Youth to co-sponsor our kids over at Jenkins Middle School. I see firsthand his passion for the kids. I see his dedication to the kids and his dedication to making sure that the parents have a better understanding of what is actually available, resources available. So for that, again, we thank you.
And I also had the opportunity to work with Dr. Finlater as a coach, coaching the youth for about 7-8 years, mentoring, tutoring the kids, basketball. The aspect I like about your program is that it has the spiritual aspect, not only just basketball, the mentoring and the tutoring, but also the spiritual aspect, which a lot of programs does not have or push. So I certainly thank you for all you do and continue to do in our community.
Commissioner, tell us what your record was when you were coaching.
Record? It doesn't matter what your record is. It doesn't matter what your record is. It's about reaching the kids and making sure you measure the kids from how they start and where they start and where they finish at in terms of being able to be a good teammate. Winning is not everything. Taking instruction.
Good answer. Anybody else?
I would just want to say I'd like to thank your wife for being able to pick up your slack, because I know that's what she's done with your children and being about it. And sometimes people forget that you need that backup. So make sure you tell them.
So Dr. Finlater had a rough patch as well starting out coaching. But he's a much better administrator than he is a coach. But he has a vision. He has a great vision for this program. It's always good that I can kind of mess with him when I have the microphone, but especially when he doesn't have the knife. But it's a great opportunity for you guys to get involved with North Point Youth and other organizations within this community. We're truly highlighting organizations that allow us to invest in our greatest resource, which is our children. It's only befitting that while we're doing Student of the Month, we talk about programs such as this, because these are the programs that are used to train our youth to be tomorrow's adults. And so Dr. Finlater, for your sacrifices, both professionally, socially, spiritually, the things that you do, this is exactly what Palatka and Putnam County is about. It's about loving our neighbor and helping mold this community. And so we definitely thank you.
Mayor, one other thing too about his organization is a grassroots organization. He started it with his own funds. It was not an organization that's already a major organization. He started it with his own funds, and he sowed a seed, and he's grew the program to where it's at right now through outreach.
And so definitely, Dr. Finlater, again, a round of applause for you. And just before we do, thank you. And so just before we do Student of the Month, I want to bring up three gentlemen. We're going to talk a little bit about a special guest that we have, item number 4 on the agenda, because I think it's important that we all hear this before we break out for Student of the Month, and then we'll cancel Student of the Month for the rest of the time. But right now I want to bring up Ben Bates, Pastor Robert Mills, and Mr. Danny Martinez to talk a little bit about Mr. Quinn Studer, who's going to be here next week.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. As some of you may know, I had the opportunity of living here with my family from 1988 to 1998 when I was the pastor of the First Baptist Church in Palatka. My family and I had the opportunity to leave here and to move to Pensacola, where I was the pastor of the First Baptist Church. When we arrived in Pensacola, we discovered that Escambia County was one of the poorest counties in the state. The graduation rates were scraping the bottom of the barrel. Young professionals were absenting the community. Businesses downtown were shuttering their doors and their windows. And in the 18 years that we had the opportunity to live there, we saw the community really have a renaissance right before our very eyes. When I moved to Pensacola, I had the opportunity to serve on the board of directors for the Baptist Hospital in Pensacola. A man there by the name of Quinn Studer had been brought to help turn that hospital around from where it was in a rough neighborhood. They were losing market share. And he did so to such an extent that it gained national notoriety. And healthcare systems from all over the country began to come to Pensacola to discover what it was that he had done. As a result, he left Baptist Hospital, started his own consulting company primarily for healthcare and for businesses to coach businesses. And about 3 or 4 years ago, he sold that business for $126 million. He has given his life since then to revitalizing communities. I just read just today in an email that Pensacola, Florida, went from being in the cellar as far as one of the places to live in Florida to being one of the top 125 cities in the United States to live. And Quint Studer had a large part in making that happen. When I moved back to Palatka 2 years ago, we came back here because we too loved this community when we lived here before. And we wanted to live here, and we wanted to retire here. And so my wife and I are back here and trying to give of ourselves in similar ways to what Dr. Finlater are to helping to see our community really move forward. I had the opportunity to invite Quint Studer to come and to be with us, and it was a relatively short notice, but he's going to be with us May the 4th at the County Commissioner meeting and at 9 o'clock on Friday and May 4th. And I would very much appreciate you, men and women, and anyone else who's in attendance to be there to be part and party of that. I really have a vision that what happened in Pensacola, Florida can happen in Palatka, Florida. It can be one of the most least desirable places to live to becoming one of the most desirable places to live. And I have a passion for that. I'm at the place in my life where I have a little time and energy left, and I want to give that to what I care about, and that's the community that I love in Palatka and Putnam County. So I'd like to invite you, please, to come to be a part of that event, May the 4th, 9 o'clock at the County Commissioners meeting. Mr. Martinez has a copy of Quint Studer's book that was just released entitled Revitalizing Communities, and in it he gives a blueprint for how to make that happen. And so we're going to share with you a copy with a cordial invitation. Please come join us and be part of that event.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
may I say a couple words?
Yes, sir.
Robert is too modest. This is really a significant event for us. Mr. Studer is a renown known throughout the country. He is coming to our community strictly because of his relationship with Robert. He's coming at no charge. He probably will get in Thursday afternoon and he's going to tour our community. And then on Friday morning, he's going to address with some remarks of anyone that would like to be at that meeting. And nothing will happen in our city without this august body participating 100% to make it happen. So we encourage you to be at that meeting. We think it will be very informative. My understanding is that Mr. Studer normally charges a community $50,000 to $100,000 to do what we may have an opportunity to get for little or nothing. So this is really a unique opportunity. I think if you will take the time to read the book, that is, I'm telling you, we had to go to Amazon and get it out of the warehouse. That's how hot off the press it is. You probably got one of the first releases of the book. They just came out. And I think you will see how he lays out what happened in Pensacola. It's very informative. It's a great blueprint for us to go by as we all work together to make our community a better place for all of our citizens to be involved in and everyone to live, work, and play. And we really encourage you to be there, and we thank you for allowing us to come and present you with a book. Thanks.
Thank you. And again, thank you, gentlemen, for your sacrifices. Pastor Mills, we appreciate you for all that you do, for thinking about us and coming back to us. But again, also Mr. Martinez, who's been, a pillar in this community as well, and to your lovely wife for being here with us. We thank you guys for stepping out and and moving forward and bringing solutions back to the community as a whole. Yes, sir.
Mayor, I came home from Atlanta 26 years ago this year because this is home. And I still have 10 or 15 more years that I can participate with Mr. Mills and Mr. in this very important project.
Well, one thing for sure, you're not slowing down. So, again, we thank you. Any comments from the commission as we discuss this?
And I just certainly just thank y'all for what you're doing to help build a vibrant community. Certainly appreciate it, and anything we can do to help, be happy to do so.
I too would like to thank you all, especially for this book. I have something to start reading this weekend. But again, thanks.
I'm excited about the opportunity. Thank you for all that you all do for this community. I returned home as well.
Well, I didn't leave. I'm just going to school, and I plan to be here 100 years, so you have to stay with me. And thank you all so much, sir. I think if we all work together, I tell our commission all the time, we're better together, then we can make anything happen.
Just excited, can't wait to be there and share it. I called a couple of my friends. Quint is very well known. I looked into them as well. What they did up there in Pensacola is phenomenal. You can see the statistics in the matrix of what it was before and what it is after. It is definitely something to be proud of. So I'm excited to see what he says and how he can help us move the city forward. So thank you for that.
So again, thank you guys. Round of applause for you guys. So now we're going to do Student of the Month. For those of you, we thank you for waiting patiently to hear those presentations, but we also thought they were very important. It was things that you needed to know that were going on in this community. Additionally, we want to make sure we got some folks out in the back corners of City Hall, our educators, people who don't always hear thank you enough. And so I see a lot of my old coaches here, a lot of very familiar faces who've dedicated many, many years to helping our children. And they often sacrifice their own time away from their families in order to help make things better for our kids. So again, at this time, we salute you. We want to tell you guys thank you for all that you do. At this time also, can we call our parents, friends, and neighbors who accompany our Students of the Month to just stand up for us so that we can just tell you thank you. It truly takes a village to raise a child. And without your efforts, these young people would not be standing out here. This month I got the privilege of doing Student of the Month with Commissioner Campbell. Commissioner Campbell is going to help me correct any name that I mess up. There's a guarantee that 3 will be messed up every month. And so we're going to move forward. We're going to ask that as we call the names of the students out, that you would come forward to the front of the room accompanied by the representative from your school. We will have you complete the loop here. After we've called all the names out, we're going to take a brief recess so that we can take a photograph for the newspaper with just the students, and then we will allow family members to take as many pictures as you want, both of the group, and we'll take individual pictures. You can take a picture with the child. You can even put my smiling face in the picture or whoever you choose. But we want to make sure that you have an opportunity to truly memorialize this event, because this is always special, and it's a monumental event as we celebrate those young people who've done great things within the school system, and we always want to make sure that we encourage our youth to continue to do great things. First up, from Brown and Pierce Elementary School, Ana Laura Altamirano Perez. Congratulations. Did I get it right? Oh, I did good. Next up, CL Overturf Jr. 6th grade center, Matthew Snyder. From Children's Reading Center Charter School, Kira Crump. From E.H. Miller School, James Cupper. Okay, let's give it up again for James as he comes forward. From James A. Long Elementary School, Tilden Gill. Congratulations, sir. From Jenkins Middle School, Maggie Poole. Aaron Nunemaker. From Mellon Elementary School, Jovian Davis. From Mosley Elementary, Autumn Becker. From Palatka High School, Jarrett Gibbons. I won't say your nickname out loud. From Palatka High School, Sonia
Flatman.
From Pinal Baptist Academy, Kaylin Andrews. Kylan. Okay, he messed me up. And from Putnam Edge High School, Jatwan Brown. And so again, to all our young people, we just want to congratulate you for the great job that you've done. And I want to leave you with something that I always say when we have Student of the Month, and it's something that stuck with me for the last 37 years. And my teacher, Ms. Green, in the third grade would tell us every day, she started every day out by making us repeat something, and it's been with me ever since. It simply says, I am somebody. If my mind can conceive it and my heart can believe it, I know I can achieve it because I am somebody. You guys are truly somebody. You're somebody's destined for greatness. And we applaud you for the work that you're doing in your schools and in your community. Continue to be good citizens. Continue to be good Palatkans. And we look for you guys one day to lead us into the future. So again, we want to thank you. And I'll close out with Commissioner Campbell as we get ready to take our recess.
I don't have anything special to say, but I want you all to keep up the great work. Again, you all are our future, and it's your job to make sure that you continue to be the leaders, not only in the classroom, but in the community, so that one day you can take our positions and continue to lead this city in the great direction. Thank you again.
We'll stand in recess. We want to thank you guys again. We'll stand in recess. We're going to ask all our students to stay up front so that we can take a picture for the newspaper, and then we'll get ready for our individual pictures. We'll now be in a brief recess.
Hey, Miles, what are you doing?
Good job.
What's up, man? How you doing? Long time no see. What's up, man? Listen, you hanging in there? You got everything under control? No, you got a little bit more. How you doing?
And just so, if you guys, if I can have your attention just for 1 second, I've got one student that wasn't recognized. They told me she was not going to be here today, but she's here, and I'll be remiss if we don't recognize Theodore Foster, who's here with us as well. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. No action will be taken on topics of discussion. Is there anyone here for public comment? Seeing no one, we'll close public comment and move on to our consent agenda. We have 2 items on consent agenda for this meeting. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the consent agenda?
Yes, motion to approve items B and B.
There's a motion on the floor by Commissioner Campbell, a second by Commissioner Brown. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
Questions called.
Hold
I'm
up,
sorry.
I'm sorry. You said that you items C and
A and B.
A and B. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's only 2 items.
Okay, okay.
No further discussion. Seeing none, we will entertain a vote at this time. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. I also want to make sure that I recognize Mr. Kevin Monahan, who's here from the SBDC, and we're going to thank you for being here today, Mr. Monahan.
Thank you for your partnership.
Definitely, and sir, we thank you for coming here today and actually taking part in our event. And so again, we look forward to continually working with you. Having taken care of item number 4 on the agenda, we'll move into our city manager and administrative reports. I'll actually start out Public Works.
Nothing, sir.
Streets. You had a very special delivery come forward recently. Sean, you want to come and tell us about that? You and Mr. Griffith, since he has nothing. Sean Ladd takes his place at the podium.
Good evening. We recently just took delivery of our new street sweeper. Looking forward to getting it all dialed in and trying to get the streets clean.
So definitely, we appreciate Sean. We appreciate the work that you guys do.
Thank you.
Mr. Ladd is our street supervisor. He's done an excellent job in organizing streets and also moving the community forward, just to change the aesthetics of what we have in place. So again, thank you, Mr. Griffin, for getting that street sweeper up. It gets rid of a lot of headaches that you had before, making sure we kind of salvage what was there. And so again, guys, thank you. And the new street sweeper looks great, and it's a lot quieter than the old one.
Yes, it is. Thank you all.
Thank you. Chief Grimes.
Good, thank you, sir.
Look good in your white shirt today.
Yeah.
Looking around, Ms. Becker,
Oh, thanks, sir.
Ms. Triggers,
We had a really good March of Dimes on Saturday.
we reached our goal.
Reached our goal, I'll let you talk about it.
We reached our goal of 75,000 this year. It was a great turnout, and as always, I like to salute Ms. Triggers because she takes the lead here with the city. March of Dimes. Also, our firefighters will be doing their boot drive this weekend. When is it? Have you scheduled?
They haven't said they did.
Okay, so we look forward to you guys scheduling a boot drive as well, and I want to thank all the citizens for the work that you did here. Stepping in for legal this week, we've got former county attorney, partially retired, Mr. Russell Castleberry. And so we definitely welcome you back because you've been here with us before. Anything special you want to
told Ben Bates and Danny Martinez at the break my feelings were hurt because I moved away and came back too, and I don't get near the praise.
You've been back to
I didn't have many choices, I guess.
Me too.
partially because you went to Florida State.
You'll
get it on the way home. Mr. Folston.
Thank you to staff. Thank you to Betsy with March of Dimes. Definitely a great event. We also have John Yule could make it here tonight. His son had a birthday, so I let him go tonight. But we now have a business jet that is stationed out to the airport, so that means more gas is going to be utilized. We're excited about that. So they've done a great job of marketing that project. And just happy for all the work the staff has been doing. It's been a great experience. So other than that, that's all I have tonight.
Okay. Commissioner Moore.
Nothing to add tonight.
Commissioner McCaskill.
Just want to say I enjoyed March of Dimes also, and thanks to Betsy for all the hard work she put in. I also would like to say that, share that I met with Janice Donaldson and Cheryl Lynch with SBDC on Monday, and we had some meaningful dialogue, and asking to entertain the opportunity for us to have a workshop with Cheryl at some point, so that we can just, have that dialogue, ask questions and answers. She really would like for us, as well as the county commissioners, to get together and see if we can move forward with that. Please.
Ms. Spears. Vice Mayor.
Only one thing. I would like to see if the people that are handling the fried Palatka would put something out to let people know that they are taking people out, because in the summer they have all kinds of reunions, class reunions, family reunions, and people have been asking for a while. A lady coming from Gainesville Church over there, they want to come over, and I gave them a number to call, but they should have somebody besides me to call. And if they would do something to let people know it's available. And when are we gonna open our,
As soon as we get a contract. And so they are intensely working on the contract, and the contract is probably more complicated than needs to be discussed right now. If you get with either the city manager, the city attorney, or Mr. Griffith, they can give you an update as to what's going on with that contract at this point. I don't really want to go into details about what their negotiations are.
I just would like, we can't go for a while, and folks have been wanting to use it.
Yes, ma'am. And so I think Mr. Griffith has the information that you're talking about. Just by seeing the nod of his head, I think he can get that to you pretty quickly, and we can also get it on the webpage. And so, Mr. Campbell.
I met with Ms. Deborah Robinson earlier this week. We have finalized the internship program. We are looking to start shortly. It's going to be an 8-week program. This year we are actually offering a college student an actual 40-hour per week internship through our finance department. So I'm super excited about that. So we'll get that information out. It should be out on the web pretty soon, so we can get our kids and get them in and get them workforce experience.
Again, Commissioner, thank you for your work on the internship program. We've got some community partners as well. If we can get some communication out to the chamber.
Yes, we do we're looking for other entities if they are willing to take on interns. We are actually asking that they be supplemented for the work that they do. They put in a lot of hard work, and if we're paying, we're asking those entities if they can to do so, but if not, we do understand. But we are looking for other partners so that we don't have to really turn any kids away, and give everyone the opportunity to have this internship. We are actually already partnering with the Data Busters program. They are providing us 2 interns, what they are going to pay them to do work for the city of Palatka. So we're already kind of starting those partnerships. I'm looking to go to the county and extend the invitation to them to do so, if not this year, but to take it in consideration. Mr. JR actually was very vital last year and very vocal, which is great. So a lot of the things that he stated with regards to the rotation and things of that nature, we're looking to bring forth in the internship. We actually have a curriculum that we formatted and made that is going to make this experience one to remember.
And the chamber, Taylor Douglas is the membership chair. The chamber has actually expressed some interest in providing some additional opportunities for kids as well. So I think if you take the curriculum there and get with Mr. Douglas, then they've already expressed interest in helping out.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Mr. Monahan.
Through the mayor to Commissioner Campbell, if Cheryl had some of that information, she's meeting with so many businesses, we might create some opportunities there.
What we'll do is I'll have, if you can reach out to Cheryl, have her contact Ms. Deborah, who's kind of the face of it with me. We'll set up that meeting and we can do what we can. Deborah Robinson, she's our HR director.
Just have Deborah call.
Okay, I'll have Deborah call her.
Then that way, we got that in place, but definitely we thank you. We look forward to that. We also have interns coming in as well with the PAL camp and higher ground. We have counselors that work there as well. 15 positions again this year, roughly 15 positions again this year. Continuing to move our kids forward. We're in festival season. I want to give you guys food for thought as we close the meeting out today. Although there's no blue crab, there is an opportunity for us to have a community crab boil at the riverfront.
All right. That sounds great.
We have a crab.
Yes.
Won't be long. I did something a little bit different for you guys this time. I provided you with some literature so that you could take with you and just learn. We have a little bit of time to talk about so many different things, and we spend so much time in the community and doing so many different things through PAL. So I wanted to be able to provide you with just a brief report, a summary of what we are currently doing in the community through PAL. I'm going to continue to provide you with this stuff on a monthly basis, so you all are able to see what we're doing, and it better fits or gives you a better idea when you're asked in the community what's going on with how. One of the things we found out is we attempt to tell our story, but we never have as much information in front of us, so it's hard to cover everything that we do. But if we take the time to put it down on some paper and hand out that literature, or if we put it on our Facebook page more often, on our social media sites more often, then people get an idea of what we're doing. And we've been getting a lot of feedback on that, so I wanted to take the time to be able to hand that out to you all so you have that information and keep you a little better informed. On there is this quarter of the year, the activities we're doing for this quarter of the year. On Monday, I attended the state PAL meeting down in Cocoa, and fabulous event, and there's a lot of things that's coming to our county that I think we're really going to be able to benefit from. Namely, we have a boxing tournament coming up. So just wanted to take that time, and hopefully you all can benefit from the information that we provide to you. Thank you.
So, in closing, one of the things that we want to look at is, although the Blue Crab Festival isn't there, I think the spirit of what the Blue Crab Festival still lives in this community. An idea that really kind of hit us earlier this week is just to invite the entire community out for a cookout on the riverfront. And let's just have a low country boil on the riverfront. We'll bring it together for our next meeting, and with the permission of the commission, to bring that back together in the form of a special event request, so that we can just look at ways to continue to celebrate, to bring people to our downtown area for our merchants, and also to have some structure in. The Veterans Parade still continues on throughout the course of that time, but I think there's an opportunity for us all within this community to have our own low country boil right here. Palatka folks cook crabs regularly.
Yeah.
We cook seafood regularly, and if we all just come together for a day of fellowship, we can start something in the midst of something that we've lost, and create another festival that may be much better. The city is actually diligently working on organizing the second coming of the Blue Crab Festival, and seeing what we can do to make sure that that festival becomes sustainable and, again, the staple of this community. And so that's where we are. That's all my comments. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Hey, did we sign the meeting document? The document for the meeting? I don't think we did.